Hello, ho, ho, and I just hit the mic. Welcome to Review for Christmas. I am Ariel.
I'm Chelsea.
And today we are talking about time for me to come home for Christmas.
Not to be confused with
Time for them to come home for Christmas.
Or
time for you to come home for Christmas.
Or
time for us to come home for Christmas.
Or
time for him/her to come home for Christmas.
Is that all of them?
That's all of them.
I was like,
These have the longest name. Typing this in takes 30 seconds.
I definitely I think we abbreviated it as Xmas in some of the notes.
Yeah, that's smart. Well, I was thinking about making it into a, what is it, an anagram when it just takes the first letters?
Yeah.
And then I was like, it'd be gibberish. TFMTOCHO. See, I can't even do it. TFMETCHFC by Hallmark. So this movie made by Hallmark, we came out in 2018. It is produced by Blake Shelton because it's based on, it's based on a book by Blake Shelton's mom, Dorothy Shackelford, and another guy, Travis Thrasher, who probably
a dope name.
Wrote it. I know, Travis Thrasher.
Yeah.
I think Dorothy and Travis probably, Dorothy's like, I got the idea. You can write it, Travis. And Travis was like, I got you. But Dorothy is a songwriter of 20 years and has collaborated on songs with her son, Blake Shelton.
Amazing.
So
we know from The Voice.
Yep. And also being a country music star.
What?
What? It's not television related. Also being Gwen Stefani's husband.
Current, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. When I say husband, it's a current.
No. I was like, didn't they get divorced? I was like, no.
No, they're still together. I double checked.
Yes, they're together. They divorced their partners, I think, to be with each other.
See, they're a couple that I've put that weird stock in them never getting divorced. I just hope they don't. Oh. I don't know why. I apply it to certain people, like how I apply on certain actors that I don't want them to get into scandals, you know? There's certain people where I'm like, just leave it alone, you know? Please, like Denzel Washington, scandal-free.
Let's keep it that way.
I
just jinxed him.
I hope he's scandal-free.
We just spoke it into existence. You might also know Gwen Stefani from The Voice.
And also being a punk pop music star.
I don't know if I've ever snorted on this show. Oh boy. All right.
So
we're feeling good today.
This is good. It's a good day. So the book, Time for Me to Come Home, I don't know if it's for Christmas or not. It's based on his song, Time for Me to Come Home. Now this movie has a romance. That didn't happen to Blake Shelton. But he does talk, there's going to be a theme of talking about the main guy's father passing away. That is something that's part of Blake Shelton's real life story. They took that from him and his experience.
Was his dad in the military like they had the dad here?
Well, it was Blake Shelton's
I didn't do any of this research. I'm very impressed by her tenacity.
Yeah.
Air Force?
He was in the Korean War, the Army in the Korean War, and then he was part of the Honor Guard. Passed in 2012, so it was 6 years later.
Oh, this is also the first one of the Time for series.
Yes, so that's why I picked it.
That's why we started with it.
It's because I wanted the first one. Guys, if this hits any substantial amount of likes, we'll do the other ones. I'm not touching them if you guys aren't.
I watched Time for Her to Come Home for Christmas and quite liked it.
Well, so I wanted to run through the Time Force to throw in some actors that we know.
Please.
And they may give us reason to want to watch them. Now, in 2019, Time for You to Come Home came out. I don't think know anybody in this. I know Allison Sweeney. She does a lot of the Hallmark mysteries.
Okay.
So she does the Hannah Swenson mysteries, and she does the Chronicle mysteries, and she's in that one Hallmark movie about the wedding veil or something like that. She's a huge Hallmark person.
Yeah, I recognize her. I've watched one of the Sweet Revenges.
Yes.
Which is the Hannah
Swenson.
Yep, I've watched one of those.
Cameron Matheson.
Yummy. That was gross. Sorry, Cameron.
Sorry,
You're a
Cameron.
grown man. I'm a grown woman.
You're quite handsome, though.
You are handsome.
Oh, she's on Days of Our Lives. That's fun. And so, yeah, Wedding Veil. I wanted to make sure I was right about that. It's the Wedding Veil, who has all their major stars. She's like a Lacey Chabert. They put her in a ton of stuff. Speaking of, in the next one for 2020, Time for Us to Come Home is Lacey Chabert and Stephen Huszar. So we'd probably not like it.
We should watch it.
We should watch it. It's an interesting combo because it's Lacey, who's just solid, and then it's Steven, who we seem to have a problem with. I don't know. I want to perpetually defend Steven.
I just think it's so funny that everything that we've disliked that he's been in, he's the one common denominator, not the writers.
I know, but I always think
I get it.
I get it. Yeah.
I'm also really annoyed at the Reddit that I'm on because it put them out of order. So I was about to be like, you're talking about the wrong one. And I was like, nope, I'm about to correct her for nothing.
Thank you. I'm like, I did my search. I have
years
in order.
You did a good job.
Thank you so much. Time for them to come home. I didn't write down the actress, but it does have your favorite actor of all, Brendan Penny.
He's your favorite.
He is both of our man crush forevers.
Indifferent to him, honestly.
No, he's your favorite.
It also has Lachlan Monroe, which
it
is
has Lachlan in it?
A name I love.
I love Lachlan Monroe.
Yeah, he's great.
And mainly because I love his name.
Yeah,
and then I see him pop up in things, and I'm like, oh, it's Lachlan.
And it's not spelled the way you'd think Lachlan is spelled, which I also think is fun.
How's it spelled?
Lochlyn. I would assume Lauchlan. Lachlan.
I probably only know him as that name, so I went, yeah, that's correct, the way you said it the first time, except I would have guessed an I.
Hal Cooper in Riverdale, baby. It all comes back to Riverdale.
Yes, that's where we first saw him.
I'm thinking about rewatching that.
I think I could handle season 1 or 2. I don't know if I could get through. I mean, you could get through the whole thing because you have a freakish commitment to just like
I do.
Going through a show all the way.
I'm unwell.
The next one up is Time for Him to Come Home, who has Holland Roden from Teen Wolf. Nothing to me, but I assume it means something to you.
She's so beautiful.
And Tyler Hynes.
You know,
I think we need to watch something with Tyler Hynes that isn't Never Been Kissed. Mm-hmm. Because I was looking at the trailer for 3 Wise Men and a Baby.
Is he in that?
Yeah, it's him, Andrew W. Walker, and an actor we don't know. I feel like over the seasons we collect actors. At the beginning we were like, we know none of these people.
And now we're like, it's an old hat.
Yeah, right. But he looks funny in that, so maybe we need to give him a second chance.
I'd be willing to do that.
And then Time for Her is, as you were saying earlier, Shanae Grimes Beach. She's now Beach. She was on 90210.
Yep.
Again, nothing to me. And Chris Carmack, which you were saying
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy.
Link is his character's name, I think. Dr. Link. Not important, but
there we go.
Yeah.
So that's
it's run
just
the
fun.
gamut.
I feel like though they really, I assume this movie did really well because they made so many of them. Or Blake Shelton was just like, I have money to burn.
Tell my story.
I mean, the house they put his fake mother in this movie is extensive.
Every house.
It's a compound.
Every house is gorgeous, but hers is a compound. When they did the aerial shot, I was like, where are we? Like, are we outside of a shopping center or like a church? And then it was like, home. And I was like, what?
What? You live here?
Atticus Lincoln. That's his character's name.
Ooh, Atticus?
Yeah, and he goes by Link.
I love the name Atticus.
It's a good one.
I've heard it
Harper
a
Lee.
lot of times this year. Who's Harper Lee? What? Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, what's funny is I know that name, and I'm just going to ask, because it's better to ask than sit here and try to
just
figure
think about
it
it for hours.
But anyway, guys, let's get to the actual movie. So our stars of this movie are Josh Henderson, who's done a lot of TV. He's done Dallas. He's done Desperate Housewives. Actually, after this movie came out, unless my IMDb search is wrong, he hasn't done a whole lot after this.
Interesting. Taking a break.
But he's great. And then we have Megan Park, who the only thing I recognized and the only thing that she had a lot of episodes of was The Secret Life of an American Teenager, which was a show that I remember coming out, but I obviously never watched it.
Yeah, that never spoke to me.
I figured it was 50% chance you'd seen it or you totally avoided it. Because it was about being pregnant, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's...
It came out at the same time as like Teen Mom, right?
That show slaps.
Shut up.
Those poor women.
Yeah,
but yeah,
anyway.
that never spoke to me, but I get a lot of clips on TikTok now.
Really?
Of it for some reason.
Weird.
And it's making me want to watch it. But I
should
feel
watch
like
all of that.
Looking at it now, I'd be like...
Oh, it'd be rough. You wouldn't have that like attachment that allows you to overlook shows from before.
Yeah.
Old shows, Sometimes they're great. Sometimes it's just because you loved them.
Right.
Yeah. So let's get into the actual movie, shall we?
Gosh.
We start off big city, super bad as always, New York City, the baddest of the big cities.
The baddest of the big cities.
Yeah. Cara's walking down the street. Cara's our main woman, Megan Park. She's walking down the street. There's carolers going on. I noticed they were singing the same lyric of whatever song they were singing, just repeating it. And I'm like,
Nice.
That's genius. Because you can just pipe that in really easy.
Yep.
Don't have to worry about their mouths being off, which they always had problems with in the older movies.
That's a really good point.
She also passes like a donation Santa, and he's like, "Oh, happy Christmas," and she's like, "Maybe." I don't know. She's vibing that Christmas might not be so good this year.
Yeah.
You know, where's she going? Where's she going that it's not going to be so good?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Well, I'll tell you. So, Cara. Her family has a jam and nut butter company.
Yum.
Yum. And it used to be run by her mother, and I'm assuming her father.
Yep.
But it got passed down to her when her mother recently passed away. So she's the owner, and she is, let me back up. They're having a rough year.
Yeah.
The company's having a rough year, and they need a loan so that they don't lay off any of their workers. And so she's going to meet with her banker, who... Fun fact, it was not important to name this at the beginning, but I know this actor from a show I think everyone should watch on Hallmark. It's called Darrow and Darrow.
Is that the Lacey Chabert one?
No.
She's crossword
do you know
puzzles.
crossword mystery really plateaued. Darrow and Darrow got really good.
Okay.
Actually, cannot find Darrow and Darrow, the first movie, on Hallmark, and I think it's because it's embarrassing, so they take it down and they leave all the other Darrow and Darrows up.
They're like, that one
take.
wasn't so good.
They're
The
like,
rest, great.
yeah, I can get it at the library, but you can't get it from Hallmark. You can get all the other ones though.
Hallmark gatekeeps. She's a gatekeeping queen.
But it has the sister swap women.
Oh, yes.
The more serious sister, the shorter one.
Not Meg.
Not Meg. What's her name? I don't know what her name is.
Kimberly Williams
yeah,
something.
She's in it, and one of the greatest actresses ever, Wendy Malick. Wendy Malick is the easy.
Oh,
and
yes.
What are we OESing?
Her.
Wendy
I
Malick?
recognize her.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's the best. She
Yeah.
is like one part of what I want to be when I grow up is Wendy Malick. She's amazing.
She's a voice in The Emperor's New Groove.
That was the reference I was going to give you to see if you could recognize her if you didn't know who she was.
No, I got it.
But if anybody else needs to know, she's hot in Cleveland. They did that show back in the day. For people like me, she's on Frasier. Not New Frasier. We don't talk about New Frasier. But yeah, I like this actor, and I was happy to see him. I was like, oh, it's you. Okay, good. Moving on. So he's the banker. And look, he does not want to give them a loan unless they fire workers and put in machines instead. You know, the classic factory, school, like old, family business thing.
Yep.
Get rid of the people, put in the machines. And what's really funny is she's like, but what about the people? You worked there in high school. And I'm like, how? How did this man work at a place in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then you both happen to be in New York? You know what? I can create a canonical story for that. Never mind.
I'm not sure she actually lives in New York. I think she lives in Tulsa.
But he's a banker in New York.
I know, she probably, this could have been a phone call.
I think she lives in New York. No, maybe she doesn't.
I don't think she does.
Also, why would you follow your banker who moved to New York if you don't live? Okay, so now we don't have a story for this.
I want to throw in one more for Wendy.
Oh, yeah.
Where I know her best.
Oh, yeah.
Just Shoot Me.
That was the one I was thinking of, and I forgot. Yes,
Yeah.
which is a show that
She's got such a good voice.
it will show your age if you know Just Shoot Me.
Holla David Spade.
Yes, it was his time. It was his time
Yeah.
to be on television.
Anyway, I apologize. I'm back in it.
So yeah, Cara is like, I'm not going to fire half the workers, but I have a new idea. All natural candy bars.
Sounds correct.
So the banker was not into it. And you know what? I would have not been into it either. Also, they keep calling them candy bars. They look like granola bars.
Yeah.
Is there, okay, people in the comments, is there a part of the world, particularly maybe Tulsa, Oklahoma, where
Drag them.
you guys refer to granola bars as candy bars? I just want to know why the writer wrote candy bars, but the prop people gave us granola bars.
I think because they're supposed to be all natural.
But they're granola.
Girl, I'm just telling you. They're like made from nuts and berries, which is a granola bar.
Yeah.
But
it's basically all the dregs from the jams and nut butters.
Which
Sounds delicious.
Jams and nut butters are also like all year round products. So I'm a little confused how candy bar, what we need to supplement. Like, I think we need to make sure it's another all year thing, which candy bars could be.
Well, in the beginning, it was an all year idea for her. Wait till the end, people. Then it's going to become genius. Yeah, he's like, it's difficult to launch a new product. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, why is it special? And she's like, the Stonebridge name. And I'm like, that's not special. I'm sitting here as Big City Bad, like, that's not special.
I'm also like, do they only operate out of Tulsa, or is this nationwide? Is it on your side?
Out of Tulsa. So my little commentary was like, honestly, this conversation's too real.
I was like,
Yeah, no.
Money.
Yeah, that sucks. So cut to our leading man, who right now his name is Heath Sawyer. It confused me. He's a country singer.
Yep.
But he hasn't had any new hits. He hasn't come out with anything that's been a hit. And so people are kind of worried. Oh, no, he actually hasn't come out with any new material. So they're worried he's never going to have a hit again. So, he's kind of in a slump. This Christmas might not be good for him either. And, his mom wants him to come home for Christmas, but he's like, meh, I don't really want to come home. But luckily he has a bossy sister, and the bossy sister is like, absolutely not. You're coming home for Christmas. I'm picking you up at the airport. End of conversation.
I have some things I want to point out.
Let me get you a comment stick while you're talking.
Ooh, yeah, I'd love a comment stick. So he was watching himself on TV when we first meet him. I asked a question. Do country music people do international tours? Country music feels very American.
I assume yes. And I assume everyone does international tours.
I don't know if everyone does. I didn't Google it. I wrote, he looks a little soft. I like my countrymen gruffer. And then I said, he does want to be home for Christmas. I asked if he was directed to say the word mama as if he was Elvis. Mama.
Mama.
And then the big push that his mother gives him.
La push, yeah.
La push, baby. When he says, he's like, I'm going to come home for summer. And she's like, summer isn't Christmas. And I was like, no, duh.
It's the feeling, Chelsea.
No, I understand.
It's the feeling.
But those were my commentaries about the apartment.
Good. At his apartment, his agent is there. In my opinion, she's pretty irrelevant. I'm not going to talk about her or her story.
He gives her a very nice bonus and is very lovely to her.
Yeah, he's really nice. And she's there to establish that, number one, he has to get a song written before Christmas, basically, because he has to be in the studio the day after Christmas. Yes.
He's supposed to be writing a Christmas song that he's going to record after Christmas. How's it supposed to? Could you imagine if Christmas passed and then Mariah Carey gave us All I Want for Christmas Is You 2 days later?
You're right.
How weird is that? It should be out. This should have been a Thanksgiving movie.
Oh.
So that after Thanksgiving, he writes his Christmas hit.
You make great points.
Thank you. I've been thinking about it all week.
Hold on one second. Yeah, All I Want for Christmas came out on October 29th of 1994.
Duh.
Whoa.
That's when you release a Christmas hit
before Christmas. And this is going to revitalize his career, by the way.
Yeah.
He has to get the song written, and he has no ability to function on his own in this scene. He has to book his own flight, and he's like, how am I going to do it?
I wrote, I'm sorry, we're supposed to believe he's never used a credit card. I mean, I guess when we see his mom's house, maybe.
Good point. I was going to say, I'm like, didn't he live a life before he was famous? But no, maybe based on his mom's house. I always try to go, can Blake Shelton use a credit card? Because it's based on him. So I go, did Blake Shelton not know how to book his own flight?
Because initially he calls his assistant to have her do it. For some reason, I thought that phone call was so irrelevant.
A lot of this movie's phone calls.
Yeah, but he's like calling her to have her book it, and instead he's like, never mind, have a great Christmas.
Yeah,
and then he's like, how hard could this be? And I was like, what's going on? And then he's like, I did it. And I was like, oh. Okay.
Also, when he opens up his wallet, little wings pop up.
Air
and it's
Force,
like,
I think is what it is.
I just thought they were like something you get on United, and I figured they had more significance.
They're his dad's military wings.
Yeah. So rude. That's me. Oh, also, there's a character. Her name is Gail. Gail gets mentioned in relation to Heath. But she's spending her Christmas in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And you're kind of like, is she a love interest? Is she that like celebrity who, I was wondering if Gail was going to pop up and be like uppity.
Don't take my man.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yep.
So hold on to Gail's name. She'll come up later.
Just her name, though.
Just Gail. Just think of Gail. Okay. Meanwhile, Cara is meeting up with her friend Sophie, who's in the Nutcracker, because duh. So Cara's going to go home for Christmas, and they kind of chat about how she hasn't told her dad about the loan. Now, one thing that I didn't realize is that she takes the loan and agrees that because she says to her dad later, the loan was approved, but...
I don't think she agreed to it.
Oh, okay.
I think she wanted to bring it back to her dad.
Thank you. I
but
couldn't
I
figure
think
it.
her plan was probably, sadly, to agree to it in order to not lose her mom's business.
Because by the end of it, at the beginning, I was like, okay, she didn't take it. By the end of it, I was like, did she take it?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, okay. Well, so she hasn't told her dad. That's important. Hold on to that.
Yep.
She's going to talk about it the whole frickin' movie. And her best friend gives her a Christmas sweater as a gag gift, and it jingles, and it has little pom-poms and a little reindeer, and she's like, it'll be a conversation starter if you're trying to meet a man. Ooh, you know, being single.
What man might she meet?
Well, I mean, she lucked out, baby.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Holy well, did she? I don't know. I don't know what dating a celebrity is like.
I don't know if I'd want to do it.
I've thought about it. I'm not sure. I mean, if offered, I will try the experience of it probably, but I don't know. And of course...
Her DMs are open, celebrities, if you're listening.
Absolutely. I mean, wide open. I don't know. I didn't like the way that sounded. If you guys were watching, you saw my face compute that.
Yeah, well, you know.
Anyway, by the way, she gives her friend Sophie a box of those candy bars, because the candy bars are so good.
So good.
So good. All natural. Speaking of naturally, there's a massive storm front heading towards the heartland of America because it's Christmas time.
Absolutely.
Obviously everybody should just expect they can't get on their plane, but these two,
they do it anyway.
Those planes. They're getting on the plane. First, we're going to go to Lee, who's covertly walking around the airport, got his little hat.
Lee is Heath.
Tipped down. Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
His name is Heath.
Well, I think his name's actually Lee.
No, I know.
Sorry.
No, you're right. I said it wrong. So okay. They freaking spring this on you. They change his name. Like, it only matters when you're trying to write a detailed script. When you're just watching it, it doesn't matter because they're going to say his name is Leland and it's Lee. They're going to say that through the whole thing. But when you're writing down notes and you write down Heath because you're trying to be a good reporter who gets their facts right, and then later you write down Lee, and you're like, oh, I'm not hearing things correctly. No. His stage name is Heath Sawyer. His real name is Leland, but everyone calls him Lee.
Yep.
So Lee is covertly walking around the airport.
I loved him incognito.
Oh,
just a baseball hat.
I think he's freaking precious.
I should have. So my outfit for the next episode, I'm wearing a baseball hat. I should have done it for this one. Stupid.
I almost was like, just change now. I'll cut it up. So yeah, he takes his seat, and then Cara walks up to him. He's like, hey, sorry to bother you. And he's like, oh. Now Cara is holding a magazine and a pen and saying, sorry to bother you. Naturally, this man thinks he's been recognized, and he's a good old boy, so he signs it. Yes, you have a commentary in the air. Let's go.
She was like, oh, sorry, that guy was watching my stuff. I was like, why did that guy not say anything to him when he sat down?
I wrote that too. She's like, he was holding it for me. I'm like, no, he wasn't. He didn't look at that man. He didn't protect you. Like, this is a PSA on don't let strangers watch your things, because
it does give us our first glimpse of her purse, which we see a couple times more when he realizes, like, oh, she's in the same place as me.
That's a good point. I hadn't even thought about that.
So we do see the purse.
But so he's, again, good old boy. He gets up, lets her have her seat, knocks her coffee with his guitar all over her white sweater.
The gasp, I gusped. I literally went, like hand to mouth, comical. It was my reaction to the coffee all over that sweater. I was glad it was a sweater
because I was like, warm, hot coffee. Nope. It's probably what she was getting. It was probably straight out of the carafe. But of course, you know, she's going to wear the Christmas sweater now.
Yeah, now
That's why we had to ruin that. Oh, by the way, the sweater's great. It's
Yes.
awesome. They get the reveal. It's really good.
It's a great sweater.
So, of course, Cara's flight is canceled. The flight to Tulsa or
Yep.
to Oklahoma is canceled. But she can go to one that's Chicago bound that's going to go to Tulsa afterwards. Great. She goes to a cafe. This extremely handsome man who had her seat before is sitting by himself and just goes, have a seat. Like
I saved you a seat or something.
It's like he was sitting there like maybe she'll come back. Even though he seems at this point
Stalker.
like he doesn't care.
Right.
But he does. Does he? Not yet.
I don't know. It was giving rom-com.
It was. I actually thought it was very
Yeah.
cute. Oh, I would also be losing my mind.
He's very
If
handsome.
That man saved me. I'd be like, well, I guess this is the man I'm marrying because this doesn't happen
I'm
in
in
real
it.
life. Yeah. Oh my God. And then he's like, they're like, one check or two, and he's like, one. I'm like, well, that's a proposal. Thank you.
Yes.
Also, she gets a plate of gingerbread cookies, which I just thought was amazing. They gave her a whole plate of cookies. She ordered, like, just get one. But no, the cookie
She ordered
plate.
the platter.
Yeah. Oh, and of course, she's like, do I know you? Are you in a band? He's like, yeah, I'm in a band. I'm in a country band. She's like, she likes show tunes. Yes.
Asking the guy with the deep Southern accent what kind of music he plays is nuts. It's country.
It would be a good first guess.
Obviously.
It'd be a good first guess that it's country. You are correct. Also,
I could have no eyes and just hear him and know.
Yeah.
If he was like, I'm a musician. I can't do a Southern accent anymore.
Which is weird.
I used to be able to. Oh, bless your heart. I'm a musician.
There
and I'd
you
be like,
go.
Dolly Parton is in the room with me.
Because that's what he would sound like.
No, I wasn't going to do I can't do it as a man.
No, it's good. I clipped his face over you saying that. By the way, they're both going home to Oklahoma. They live near each other, or kind of like bordering towns.
Yep.
They're like rival schools.
And
And
she's like, that's how I know you.
That's how I know you. And he kind of laughs at her.
You know,
It's precious. I think it's probably nice for him.
that's what I was going to say. Like, don't you think as a celebrity, if you were like hanging about
Yeah.
and a pretty girl
Didn't know who you
didn't
were.
know who you were and
Yeah.
was like still giving you the time of day?
Liked you as a person? I agree.
Saw the real you.
Oh.
Saw that you had substance.
Oh, God. So, anyway, she gets a call. Cara gets a call. And this is where we're going to start this thing of her taking calls from her dad and avoiding the topic of the loan.
I can understand that.
No. But I just mean it's going to happen through the whole
Yeah.
movie. I'm not going to cover it every time it happens.
Right.
Because pretty much every location we go to, there's going to be a call from dad or a call from Lee's mom. And they're going to either talk about their dead parent because they both have, her mom passed away and his dad passed away. They're going to talk about their parents that aren't here for Christmas, or she's going to talk about how the loan she's not going to talk about it. She's going to avoid it. That's the only thing that happens.
When you pull the string of like a toy and they only have like 4 things they say.
That's it.
This is their strings.
Exactly. Christmas isn't the same. I don't want to talk about the loan, and I've got to write this song. That's all they talk about. So, by the way, Dad's calling from, we mentioned this before, a beautiful cottage. Holy moly. These houses are absolutely bonkers.
God, Nathan's house.
Oh, I know.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so she gets back and Lee's like, everything okay? And being Cara, she just leaves.
She leaves him with the full plate of cookies.
So I still liked her at this point. I thought she was kind of flat, but I thought at moments they had good chemistry. I want you guys to know that at this point, I still liked her.
Oh, there's going to come a point where you don't like her?
There will be a point where I change that opinion. I just get done with her mess, okay? And we'll get into it. So she just leaves him with the cookies. He eats a cookie because he's, been left on his own, and that's what you do when you're alone. Back at his gate, though, I guess it's both their gate.
Yeah.
But it's the one he's going to. There's this little kid, and the kid's like, oh, do you play that guitar? And he starts like rattling off if he can play certain Christmas songs. It's freaking precious.
Like Jingle Bells? Yes. Here Comes Santa? Yes. And he just keeps answering all his questions. He just keeps saying
he's
yes.
like, I can play a lot of Christmas songs.
He's like, I can do it.
You're precious. So this little kid's all alone, and they let him go talk to strangers.
Crazy.
Oh, my God.
In the year of our Lord 2019, too, where we should know better.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, and the flight attendant lady or the concierge, she's like, she's going to make sure I get on my flight. Like, you're so cute. So he's going to go visit his grandma for Christmas. This
In
is
Chicago.
Alex. Yes.
To see the big tree
What's the big tree?
I don't know. I mean, probably the one at Daly, but the big tree is the Rockefeller Plaza in New York where the little boy's leaving from.
We do have a Chicago Christmas tree.
I mean, we do. I mean, yes.
No, but no. I don't know
When he's like, I'm going to go see the big tree in Chicago, I was like, you're leaving the biggest tree in New York City. What are you saying?
What's going on? That's really funny.
I was like, that's like if someone, I don't actually.
Said, I'm going to go ice skating downtown Chicago. It's like, it's
by
New
the
York.
bean, and it's like,
go to New York.
Go to Rockefeller.
Yeah.
That's like, that Rockefeller's the iconic, I've seen it at Christmas. It's iconic.
It's in every Christmas movie that takes place in New York at nighttime.
But I was physically there one year.
Was it great?
Dope.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know if I've ever.
And I also went to the NBC store, and I bought souvenirs for myself.
Of course you did.
I bought a Troy and Abed in the morning coffee mug from Community.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds like you.
Troy and Abed in the morning.
I haven't been to New York since I was 12.
That's young.
Yeah, young. So I've not experienced those things that maybe I should.
Yeah.
I probably won't, but maybe I should. So Alex is alone. He's like, you want to play cards with Heath Leland? And he's like, oh, I got to work. But luckily, Cara shows up. And she's like, hey, I'm Cara. He's like, hey, I'm Heath Leland.
I think he just says Lee.
No, he says Heath, maybe Heath Lee. But like he accidentally says fake name and then real name. I wrote it down.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And because Cara's going to play cards, Heath Leland's going to play cards.
Heath Leland.
And, the little story about Alex that he's going to go visit his grandma because his dad's in the military. And his dad isn't going to be there. And it's sad. And they play Go Fish. And
Alex broke my heart.
Alex was so sweet.
I wish he came back.
Yeah, he didn't matter after that. But he's part of a theme.
Yes.
He's part of a theme. So, yes, they go on the flight.
You got to talk about it.
So, Alex, they call up first class.
Unattended minors in first class.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Good point. And so Lee and Alex, he's like, sorry, Cara, we'll see you later. He walks up and he hands the concierge his ticket. She's like, oh, you're not on the flight yet. And he's like, no, I'm first class. And she's like, you're coach. And that's why he doesn't know how to make his own. That was the whole, we don't know how to book our own flight.
Yep, can't book his own flight,
Because
booked himself and coach
instead of.
If his
manager had booked it, she would have put him in first.
Yep.
And he's like, well, can I get any favors? He like lifts up his hat so she knows. And she's like, no, it's the rules. And then immediately after is like, also, can I get your autograph?
Yeah, I was like, oh, shoot, they don't recognize him? Like, you're not going to bump this celebrity up? And then I was like, you do recognize him, and you're still not bumping him up to first class. Exactly. What a vibe.
Also, I don't know. I feel like celebrities being in normal classes on flights is probably horrific for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Flights are already awful enough as it is.
Yeah.
So anyway, what are you giggling about?
A note I have much later.
Oh, okay, got it.
We'll get there.
But anyway, he's got to be with Cara in coach. They don't actually sit on the plane together. We don't talk about it, but she does give him one of her candy bars, and oh my God, they're so good.
He asks for another, and she says no.
Which I actually laughed at. I was like, that's big vibes right there. That you just said no to that man when you
Does
have.
anyone ever say no to him?
Yeah, which is kind of like maybe a thing, but again, I still liked her. So they're in Chicago. They say goodbye. It's time. Oh my God. They walk out and there's like a military, obviously like a dad. And he's like standing there and I'm like, Alex's dad. No, it's not.
Someone else's dad.
They tricked us. They really stabbed you in the heart.
Yeah.
So Alex is sad. And Leland's like, hey, my dad was in the military. And I don't know if he missed Christmases, but like he wasn't around. And he gives Alex the wings.
Also, so Leland goes by Lee, and he starts calling Alex Lex.
He does call him Lex.
I'm not crying, you are.
That's so funny.
It's the only point I cried, I think, in this movie.
I actually remember the last time he called him Lex, I went, Lex? Okay. Still doing it.
Lex and Lee.
It's like Luce, not being a name called Lucy. That'll be another episode. Yep. It was either
the next one.
It's the next one? Next episode, You'll get that joke. So, yeah. Oh, the connection to Tulsa isn't leaving until tonight.
Right.
And luckily, Lex's grandma, her husband used to own a historic hotel, and so she can get him a reservation. Yeah,
So
I don't know. They
unclear.
really crisscrossed their way to that one. So back at the historic hotel, of course, Cara and Leland meet again. They're both at this hotel.
He recognizes her purse on the counter.
Yes,
And looks
the
for
purse
her.
thing that I never make a note of, and you definitely are going to help me with that. And so they're like, oh, chatting, you're following me. And he's like, I'm not following you. And then Gail starts calling. And then he ignores Gail's call and invites Cara to come down for dinner later. He's like, you coming down for dinner? And she's like, maybe. And then she goes up to her room, and obviously she's going to come down for dinner later. So Lee goes downstairs. They recognize him at the bar, and she's sitting by herself looking real cute, talking on her phone with her friend Sophia, and she's like, yeah, I'm meeting a guy down here. She still has no idea. He gets 2 hot buttered rums, which I don't know if I've ever had that. Is that any good?
I've never had it.
All right,
But
go.
I have my tree. I think this is when he's talking to his sister, and he's like, I'm trying to get there. Everything is like...
Oh, yeah.
And his sister responds, likely story. And I just wrote, it's on the news.
Yeah, she's rude as...
What do you mean likely story?
She's real rude. You're right. He was in his room, and I chopped it. But you're right. No. The sister's bossy and mean, and, like, that's her whole persona.
Yeah.
And I want to know, is Blake Shelton's sister bossy and mean? Does Blake Shelton have a sister? Blake Shelton's sister. Yes, Endy Shelton. She's... Endy.
Non-disclosure agreement. Shelton. Interesting.
I work with a genius. I want you all to know that. Back at the restaurant in the hotel.
Yeah, I've never had hot buttered rum. I don't know if it sounds good, honestly.
It looks nasty. And
I've had a hot toddy.
isn't that tea with, no, yeah?
It's like tea with whiskey.
Okay.
Or is it hot apple cider with whiskey?
With whiskey.
With whiskey.
This show is with whiskey. It's not. It's 10 in the morning. So here we go. What's the lead doing? So, oh yeah, that's not important. He's writing. Oh, by the way, he's been writing his song. He's taking calls from his mom and his sister, and she's talking to her dad. And oh yeah, he makes a little like, "I'll be home even if I have to charter a sleigh." That's a good lyric. Yeah. Goes down to the bar, gets 2 hot buttered rums. We're back at it. She's on the phone with her best friend. We got it. It was the sweater that brought them together. So the best friend is like, I'm the best.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone at this bar is reacting to the fact that a celebrity is walking through because he's not even hiding it. He's got his celebrity face on. He has this face he does. He's got his celebrity face going. And they join. She joins him. He joins her. They're having heart to heart about their parents, as they do every time they're together. Yep. You know, Christmas is just not the same. These 3 women walk up. This poor man. First they go, Heath? Like they know him. And then they're like, here's some autographs. And Cara's starting to put it together. They're like, can you sign this? And then the audacity.
Truly.
This woman goes, can you sing for us? What?
So you're not as chronically online as I am.
Yeah.
I don't know how familiar you are with pop sensation Chappell Roan.
I know the name.
She very recently made some statements that people were pissed about.
Okay.
Basically saying that fans actually aren't entitled to her time when she's not working.
Drawing some boundary lines?
Yeah. Big boundary energy. But I just wrote as my bullet point, I said, imagine making a person sing in public for you. And then under that I wrote, this is what Chappell Roan is referring to.
Yes.
Like the audacity is a perfect word. Could you imagine, like, what if I don't know, I wouldn't make Elton John perform for me if I'd be just like, thank you for the signature, I'm going to get out of your hair.
Yeah.
An autograph is the
Maximum
That's
you
should be asking for.
That's
Maybe a
maximum.
photo.
Yeah, a selfie.
Yeah,
is
a
pretty
selfie
much
and an autograph.
walk away.
Either or, if you don't have a pen and paper, you do not ask someone
To sing.
to play he was on a date.
He's meeting. Yeah.
He was like very much living a real normal life scenario, and you took him out of it.
And she looks
actually, this is
very
where she
much-
lost me a little bit. I was like, why are you leaving?
I know. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the fan was like very entitled to this. She was like, "Come on,
Yeah.
it's Christmas." What?
Yeah. I also felt like his voice in that moment also didn't sound very country. I was like, it doesn't match country to me. And then I just wrote, am I broken?
I'm gonna be honest. I took my headphones out because I didn't care.
No, duh. Of course you did.
I was like, oh, he's gonna sing, so I put my headphones down. I was like, I don't need to listen, because it's me. And yeah, Cara leaves while he's singing.
She just did.
Because she's emotional, but okay.
I think she feels a little betrayed.
And you know what?
We do get a
little...
little...
Taking her character as a whole, knowing her from the whole movie, she gets a little bratty, in my opinion, about what fair. She takes as like an affront to her person.
Yeah.
And so her leaving in character, in her entirety, makes complete sense. That she would take it like lying to me. I mean, I would be like, well, I want to have the rest of this conversation, because what in the heck's going on?
Yeah.
But she leaves.
And I can understand from the aspect of like, oh, he thinks I'm an idiot.
I get that.
But it's also like, he wouldn't be hanging, like, he wouldn't keep entertaining.
He wants to hang out with you.
Yeah, he's like actively choosing to hang out with you, despite the fact that you do not realize who he is.
I'd submit myself to that scene.
Anyway.
It would be on. I would even do that if it was Blake Shelton. He's a handsome man. Next morning, because, he's like, oh, she's gone. And he's not going to go find her.
Yeah.
He actually, every time she leaves him, which is a lot, he just lets her go. Good boy.
Yeah.
Just let her go.
They just keep running into each other.
She's a butterfly. If she wants to come back, she will.
That's the real butterfly effect.
Her phone's ringing. Her friend's calling. They got into the ballet. She's like, oh, the man that I went to dinner with is unavailable because he's Heath Sawyer. Oh, my God. The airport's still shut down. How's she going to get home? She's going to take a bus. Yep. That's how she's going to get home. She's going to take a bus in a storm. I don't get it. So he's running downstairs actually looking for her. He's like, oh, you know that girl, Cara? Because the concierge is going to know. She's like, oh, left 20 minutes ago. The airport shut down. He calls Liz for help and leaves a voicemail because he's got to figure it out himself. And, of course, he's getting on the bus. That concierge is like, get on the bus. And luckily, he's putting his stuff down right in the exact place that she's sitting, where she puts her purse so that no one sits next to her, and he just doesn't see it, apparently.
Hey, Cara.
I'm not following you. And she's like, oh, I'm not upset. And then he starts talking, and she literally puts her headphones in to ignore him.
Good. I also, flying coach, riding on a public bus. This man's going through it, you guys.
I'd feel like I'd be going through it if I was him, and I'm not even a first classer. And I'd be like,
he was trying to get a private jet.
He did try to get a private jet.
Yeah.
She does take out her headphones and is like, was this a game to you? And he's like, I didn't lie. My name is Leland. And then he's like, I'm sorry you're upset. And she's like, who says I'm upset? And I'm like, you're very upset. Don't act like you're not upset. Don't do that thing that they think females do all the time, where they're like, I'm not upset. Just admit you're upset.
Yeah.
Anyway, across from them is this old couple, and they're very in love. And he recognized them because they're a band
called the Roamers.
The Roamers. They've been touring for 50 years, and they met on a bus on the way to Amarillo. And every year they sing at the Kringles Christmas Village. And you know what? The bus is going to stop there. Maybe he can sing with them, because that's what he does in this movie. He talks about sadness, he tries to write his song, and he sings anytime anyone asks him. He's a little wind-up.
Yep.
Just ding, ding, Jack in the Box.
Yep.
I feel like you have a commentary.
I don't.
Yeah.
I liked the couple.
They're cute. They're so
cute.
excited that he's going to sing. So they pull up in Faith, Missouri, and they both get off. And, oh, this was cute. When they're getting off the bus, he puts out his hand and helps her out.
And she takes it.
And she takes it. And I was like, are they in love? I mean, I would be.
Yeah.
I literally, in my head, would be planning the rest of our lives. I'd be like,
oh, yeah. I would be done for. I would have been, the second he said, I saved you a seat at the airport, I would have never left his side.
No, we would be shackled to each other. Fate would bring us together. I would glue us all the way home.
You're like, fate got us in the room.
Yeah, I'll take
I
it
got
from
him handcuffed.
Here. Exactly. That's exactly it. Oh, and he's like, can we start over? I'm Heath Sawyer, but you can call me Lee. And I'm like, you can call me whatever you want.
I'm Cara, but you can call me
Jaded. I'm sorry. She's just a pill. And at this point I said, does he actually talk like that? And I looked up an interview. He doesn't. This is a voice. And that's probably why they do have him say mama like Elvis.
Mama.
So, of course, they want her to sing with them because every voice has its own uniqueness.
Well, they also were in competing choirs or something, so technically she sings.
Oh, I forgot about the choir thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So they sing Dashing Through the Snow, and they make eyes at each other the whole time.
And the roamers at one point move over to move them closer together, and they're like...
And I have a lookalike. I think, and I'm going to pull up evidence on my computer so that you can, because I have pictures specifically chosen.
Okay.
I think that, and this is also a feeling, they're not going to be identical people.
Okay.
It's a feeling.
All right.
So we have Josh Henderson. All right. Great.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think I know who you're going to pull. But I want to give you time.
I think that he is like a young Brendan Fraser.
Not who I thought you were going to pull.
Do you see my evidence?
I do see your evidence.
I think at certain times he's got some Brendan Fraser face and some Brendan Fraser charm. And my God, Brendan Fraser. Most handsome man in Hollywood?
Brendan Fraser?
Yeah. I've been so in love with him for so many years of my life. My God. And then he went through all the things he went through, and it made me just love him more.
So I think he kind of looks like Barry Watson when Barry Watson was young and on Seventh Heaven.
Seventh Heaven. Okay.
My evidence.
Okay, now I know that actor.
Oh, God.
Now I know that actor.
I'm going to fire myself from our podcast.
From hitting things?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, the roamers are losing their mind. They're so happy. And they're like, we'll get our manager, I think. I don't know. Fiona. Fiona's going to get you a car so they can drive their way home. All the way home. Look at them go.
Be home for
And
Christmas.
Jaded Cara is like, I'm going to take the bus. What is she doing? Tell me. Make excuses.
Wow.
I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at her.
Sometimes
Yep.
men are scary. Not scary, bad scary, just scary love scary, especially when they're famous. And we haven't even gotten to the part where she gets even more upset.
I know. I don't know. I just feel like
Starting to get paranoid.
she's fumbling the ball for me, you know?
She is dropping the bag.
I hope you all enjoyed that hand in the screen because I don't want to cut that line out.
What did I say? Hand in the bag? Fumbling the bag?
I said that she's fumbling the ball, and you said...
Hand in the bag?
I have no idea.
I don't think I said a real thing. I think it's a phrase.
So now I'll cut it, and I'll just come in.
No, keep it. Keep it because I want to know what I said.
Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah, so she's going to stick on the bus, and he just keeps staring at her, man. He is in love with this feisty lady.
He likes them a little spicy.
I wouldn't call her spicy. I don't even know why I called her feisty. I mean moody. And emotional.
You want to hold up your commentary?
No, I just kind of sometimes like holding it.
Yeah, me too.
I like just
stick is
twirling
so-
it. Yeah.
It's like a perfect little stick.
So, oh yeah, so he goes into this cafe, gets some grub, and
You got it.
they're having their annual snowflake party, and you make a snowflake and a wish, and you hang it up. And he's like, I don't know if I'm going to do it, but don't worry, Cara's going to show up. She did it. She showed up. And she's like, we're going to make snowflakes.
We're going to drive to Tulsa.
Yeah. So they do crafting, and they cut snowflakes. And it's actually probably some of their most chemistry is when they're making these snowflakes. Gail is calling again. He's ignoring it again. They flirt through bullying, which is one of my favorite forms, and seems also very Cara to flirt through bullying. She wishes for a Christmas miracle. That means not laying off half her employees. He wishes for a Christmas song. Oh, and he finds out she's with Stonebridge Jams.
Uh-huh. His mom's favorite.
Yeah. I was like,
Why did I yell that?
you didn't yell it.
It felt like I did.
It is his mom's favorite, though. And you know what? That's romantic. He's into her. He's like, she is. And you know what, though? I think based on that, he probably would be into her because she seems like a down-home girl. That's probably,
Yeah.
They're both from Oklahoma?
They just want their beers, Daisy Dukes, and their trucks.
Yeah. That's a stereotype,
It's
but
a
I'm
real-
going to go
yeah.
with it. It's a Luke Bryan song, probably, so it's fine.
There for sure is... Actually, okay, can I tell you one of my favorite jokes?
Sure.
Here's how you sing a country song backwards.
Okay.
Got my beer back, got my truck back, got my girl back.
Yeah, I know that one is good. I had a comic that was like a New Yorker comic, and it's a guy sitting down in a recording studio, and it just says, "My baby finally left me. Where do I sign?" And I'm like, good joke, funny joke, good stereotype. Love jokes. So
Yay.
So they have some Christmas duck, and Fiona gets him a car. Oh,
They ate duck?
yeah, they do. They do.
I think I blacked out.
I blacked out. And Fiona gives him some elf hats because it's chilly out there, and they flirt some more, and they get in the car, and it's time to bond while driving.
Yep.
So
From
it's
Missouri to Oklahoma.
yeah, I don't know what that trek would be,
I don't think
but
very far.
it's snowy, and I was really worried they were. So my brain flashed to them being stranded and freezing together, and that being part of their love story is that they're like frozen in a tundra kind of thing, and they hold on to each other for warmth until the EMTs get them and save them, and then
Jeez.
But
Missouri
no.
and Oklahoma touch.
okay, so they're next to each other. Yeah, no, they just listen to his music, and we do get a cute line where he's like, "You don't like country music," and she's like, "Well, I like you." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh."
There's a
Good
song
line.
playing. She's like, "Is this you?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "That'd be me."
Oh,
I'd be like-
absolutely. Turn that up.
Yeah.
So now we're in Joplin, Missouri. And
That's where Janice is from.
Who?
Janice Joplin. We're never gonna get through this episode. I need to shut up. Someone put tape over my mouth.
So they're in Joplin, Missouri. And the snow's come down hard. But he's got a friend, Nathan Johnson. He used to be a bass player, a guitar player, and then he got married. And he calls and is like, "Hey, can we crash at our place?" But Nathan doesn't pick up. So they pull over to a church. There's a choir singing. Great. They take phone calls from their respective
Naturally.
parents. They sit together, talk about their respective parents.
The dad's like, "Where are you?" It sounds like angels.
Angels.
It's just a
I
church
laughed
choir.
so hard. Sounds like angels. Oh, and they both have a tradition in their families of opening the first gift at the stroke of midnight. So she's like, "I have an idea." And you get that they're going to open their gifts at the stroke of midnight on Christmas. They stop at a convenience store. The only point of this is so she can see an article where it's like, Heath Sawyer and Gail are engaged. And of course, she's Cara, so she's going to say nothing. And
Ask no questions.
she's not going to be like, I would literally just pick it up and be like, "Yo,
Who's Gail?
I thought we were vibing."
I'm in a car with you. I met you a day ago.
I would have picked that up quick.
Would have given him a paper cut with it. Who is Gail?
It's a good day, people.
I'm unwell.
It's good. So she's really moody. They're sitting in the car, and at this point, I'm done with her.
Yeah,
like,
no, I
I'm
get
done
it.
with you, Cara.
I get it.
Because he's so nice, and he would tell her the truth. He has
And he
given
does.
no indication that, other than the Heath Leland thing, which in your brain you could be like, maybe he didn't want you to know who he was because
It makes his life easier.
Yeah, maybe he wanted to be honest with you.
Maybe it's like fun to be a normal person when you're not.
It makes complete
He's
sense.
flying coach.
Yeah. Thank
He's
you.
a regular guy.
He's just a guy.
He's just a
Anyway.
guy. Hit him with your car.
He's just a guy, and life is a nightmare. Anyway, Nate is calling, okay? So Nate's calling. He has a house
A house.
for them to stay in. And he mentions his wife, Donna's in bed because she's not feeling so good. Did I miss something?
No, this was confusing.
Okay, hit me with it.
Well, is Donna dying?
Donna's dying, I think.
That could
I
have
think
been
Donna's sick.
like cancer sick.
I think so.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't say it
They just make it
specifically.
real sad, and
Yeah.
the vibes are real weird.
She doesn't look. They luckily don't go as far as doing like the classic. Someone's sick, so they're wearing a headscarf because they're going through chemo. She has a full head of hair.
Yeah.
But
and at one
she's
point, she does
weak.
run a little bit with the kids to the kitchen. So
Okay.
I'm like, What's happening? Are you breaking my heart or am I okay?
That's a good point. They also
we never
have
find
two
out.
daughters. No, we don't. They have two daughters, though, Nell and Mandy. They're littles. They're
sweet.
And it's great because they're showing them around the house, and Nate offers them Santa's cookies, and Nell is like, no.
Excuse
Nell is pissed.
me.
And yeah, he's like, oh, I'm a Santa's elf. What do you want for Christmas? Because they've got the elf hats. And she's like, oh, I want my mom to get better for Christmas. And then I wrote, oh, God, they're going to sing.
Oh, for sure.
I hadn't put together that the only, like, a third of this movie is sing-alongs.
Well,
so he teaches them to sing a song. The sisters are going to sing it for Mom. And she teaches them to bake a pie. And they use her candy bar as the crumble on the top of the cherry pie, which they also use her cherry jam.
Yep.
I didn't realize that jam is like pie filling.
It's not.
Okay, it's not?
No.
Oh, so they're
it
doing
can be probably, but
they're doing a improvised. We don't have ingredients, but we can use these 2 jars of cherry jam that I've got.
Probably.
She probably had it in her show off products bin. They had like cherries, man.
Yeah, no, it looked like pie filling, not like jam.
So it's bedtime. And they're going to put out candy for Santa. I don't know why I wrote down that detail and not a billion others, but here we are.
The candy is muy importante.
Very important. So he's like, is everything okay? What's bothering you? And she avoids
Talk
him.
to me.
Oh, my God.
How often, like, realistically, in your dating life, how often have men, like, truly asked you
if everything's okay when you're
and
upset?
like meant it and like wanted to, like, how often does that really happen?
Not enough. You got to take it when it happens, man.
Truly. I would have been like, you want to know something? Who's Gail?
The magazine.
I bought 7 copies.
Who's Gail? No, but if that man said to me, is everything all right? I'd be like, here are all my tears. Like, like I would explode. But but Cara does this. She says, I'm fine. Lets him talk for a second and then says what's wrong. So he's like, thank you for everything you've done for me. And she's like, what about your fiance? Finally, Cara,
he's like,
thank
what
you.
fiance?
I thought we were being honest with each other. And he's like, well, the magazines are wrong. Okay. So Gail was there for him when his dad passed away. She's like a little sister, but she's not his type. You know what is his type? And then he rattles off like a bunch of stuff that like Cara did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's in love with you.
Dude, cannot stay away from you.
Yeah. Oh my God. She's silly.
So silly.
So anyway, it's midnight. It's time for presents at midnight. For some reason, they both have presents for each other.
We got them at the store.
Oh,
that was why they were at that store in the first place.
Could not figure it out. I was like, I figured out his present. So he gives her a Romer's CD.
Their Christmas album.
Fantastic. She gives him a harmonica. And I was like, why does she have a harmonica? It didn't make any sense. You've explained it. We now know. Canon set. Oh, I also at this point needed to look up if Blake Shelton found love on this trip. No. It does not look like he did.
We found love in a hopeless place.
Called an airport.
We found love in Oklahoma.
That was good. That end bit. I was wondering where you were going.
I did not know. Home. Yeah.
You brought it home.
Yeah.
Naturally, Heath plays harmonica because country boy. They take out the pie, and go team, great. And he's like, you started a new Christmas tradition, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna make my own miracle.
I can do it.
So she's gonna go to the computer,
girl boss,
and rebrand her candy bars.
Yep. She
moves the word Christmas onto the candy bars, and now they're a Christmas candy bar.
Here.
And and she calls Sophie to do her a favor. That's the end of that scene. But everything's turned around.
Yep.
So it's Christmas. They all sing to the mom. The pie is delicious. Yeah.
You go in, and she's like, oh, I've already cut the pie. And she's like, girls, you made this? And one of them goes, I put the jam in. I watched the movie. I saw that scene. I saw Lee open both cans of jam and pour them. You are a liar. You are lying to your sick mother.
You're the best. Also, I just want to say that I was really uncomfortable during the pie baking scene because Cara wouldn't let possibly do anything. So he just had to hover and move
So-
himself between the girls. Like, he's just like, hey, and she's like, we got it. He's like, okay. And he stands over here and he's like, okay, I'll stand over here. And I'm like, just let him help you.
Talk to him, like tell him what's wrong, or like if you're gonna pretend nothing's wrong, you also have to like let him.
And at this point, I'm like, you want to marry this woman? She's gonna be a pill
bro.
for the rest of your existence, man. You need to lay down some guidelines with this one.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I will say, the girls are like, will you come and visit us next year? And Cara's like, yeah, maybe. And Lee's like, we will. He is ready to marry this woman.
He's like, I'm ready to have a family. I'm ready to change my whole life.
Yeah, I want Cara, the airport girl. That's what I want in my life.
Airport girl.
So back in the car, they listen to the roamers. They've only got a few more hours to go. They make it to Tulsa.
They make it to Ulcer.
Oklahoma. They make it to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Dad's house is a masterpiece. It is also the picture on the label of the jars. And then there's the famous stone bridge where her parents and her grandparents got married at the same time.
And Heath's like,
that's where we're getting married. And they have a very hushed, toned, and hesitant goodbye with each other. And then she's like, hey, you want to come inside and have a cup of cider? It's my mom's famous recipe, or favorite, or whatever. And you know what I thought about? This girl's been on the road for 2 days, right? I would be a greasy mess. I'd be such a mess. And her hair's pretty well done.
well, so
Maybe they've only been driving for a
stayed
day.
at the hotel and they stayed at Nate's. So they
Okay.
had places where you can
Freshen.
sleep and freshen up.
Okay, never mind. Everything's better. I was like, man, I would not be as clean as she is. But you're right. They haven't slept on the streets. And that's what I was preparing for.
Or in the car,
Yes.
where the EMTs would find them.
Frozen to death, huddled for warmth. That's a story you tell your grandkids. Back at the house, which feels like a home, Dad is here. I don't know why I wrote that, so I'm assuming they said it. That the house feels like home.
I can't with you.
So the dad's here, and he knows who Heath is. Lee, moves himself to a corner, and she tells the dad about the loan, but they got the loan, but there's strings attached.
Yeah.
And Dad's like, absolutely not. And she's like, well, I think we can make a new product with the candy bars. And Dad's like, I can't afford the risk of that. And Lee is like, I will back this.
Insane.
Well, okay. Let me say what happens
Well, I guess
next.
he did eat the candy bars. He knows they're good.
Let me say what happens next and then give you my profound feelings on this. So he's like, look, I'll give you a loan. And they're like, we really don't want to be in debt to you. And he's like, that's cool. I don't really care. Whatever. Dad's rightfully embarrassed about the entire thing, because why did she have this conversation in front of a celebrity? I would be embarrassed. And Cara gets aggressively mad at him for offering her money and, in her words, not believing in her. Excuse me? What? Not believing in you? Where's the logic, people? I don't understand.
Yeah.
She gets so mad. She basically tells him to leave. And I'm like, he's saying he believes in you by giving you money. He doesn't know you.
Yeah.
And I know it's like she needs to do it on her own, but I just felt like it was a lame conflict. You know,
Well,
is that
also-
mean? Am I being aggressive?
No, it's double weird because when he first offers it up and is talking, she's like smiling at him like a goon, and then immediately gets angry when her dad's like, no.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like if her dad had said yes, she probably wouldn't have been as mad.
That's a good point.
And I was like, what are we doing here, Cara?
It was super dumb.
I have a note in here, though, in regards to all the houses.
Yeah.
That says, should I move to Oklahoma?
Real estate in Oklahoma is popping.
Yeah.
So Rejected Lee pulls up at his own house. Uncle Lee is here. Great. Cool. There's 1 billion people in this house because there's always 1 billion people on this compound that she lives in.
Yeah. It's a resort.
It's amazing. It's an absolute stunner.
Yep.
And their whole family, they bring all the family, and there's tons of them. I don't even know if my family on both sides would be the same as his one family, Anyway, Grandma's looking at a picture of her husband. It's real sad. And we all cry, and they all missed each other. Everyone comes in for hugs. Even the extras, who we don't know who they are, come in for hugs. And they have Christmas dinner, and they discuss Dad. And Mom has gifts for everyone.
Of course.
Their family albums. He's very contemplative, Lee, because he's got to go do something. He's got to go back. And she's like, hey, speak from your heart. So he does. Cara's in her kitchen. She's sad. Dad's apologizing to her. Like, hey, your mom's the one who wanted to start Nut Butters. He's not, doesn't have an accent. You're the one who wanted, I think actually I just can't say Nut Butters without an accent.
Nut butter.
I twang it. So he's like, your mom wanted to branch out into Nut Butters. And then we had a business for 30 more years. So I need to trust you on the candy bars. Great. Problem solved. Ding dong. Lee. Oh, Lionel calls. The banker. I forgot. This was so funny to me. He calls her and he's like, Sophie dropped off some candy bars and a proposal. These are great. And I love them being Christmas themed. I'm going to kick it upstairs. Great.
Thanks, Lionel.
Thanks, Lionel. Doorbell rings.
Ding dong.
Ding dong, Lee is here. And she's so mad when she opens the door. I'm like, everything is turned around. Why are you like this? You make women look bad.
Whoa.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's so
No, I know.
irrational. And this
I
is
know.
why they make fun of us. Because movies are like, look, she's being still mad.
She's crazy. She's probably on the rag.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Anyway, he professes his feelings for her. He doesn't say I love you, but
No.
like how much she brought him home, you know? Mm-hmm. And I think they've got a nice, good country kiss. Like,
yeah.
It's not tonguing like Never Been Kissed, but like it's good. It's not church tongue. We're not even that far. It's just a good
tongue.
Yeah, I'll put in the wedding singer clip. It's a good kiss. Bravo. Nice. Great. And he's like, do you have plans for Christmas? Let's go to my mom's $1 billion estate. So he brings him home. Oh, I wrote billion-acre estate.
Both.
That too. And, you know, Mom is
$1
straight
per
up.
acre.
Mom is like, my son is very taken with you.
Like, geez, Lou.
And they meet crabby sister Stacy. They get them some food. Everybody's happy. Liz, the agent, is calling. She's like, great, you got to be in the studio tomorrow. And he's like, well, no, I'm not going to be in the studio till after New Year's. It's too late anyway, as Chelsea pointed out.
A normal Christmas song needs to be written and recorded before Christmas is my last note on my notes.
Well, the song is written, and we listen to it. And this scene's hilarious to me because all of a sudden everyone here has instruments.
And they all know the lyrics?
They all know the lyrics.
And their harmonies?
Yeah.
To the song he just finished writing 10 seconds ago?
His sister pulls out a guitar. Someone's got a fiddle. Cara is singing next to him. Like, Mama's singing. Everyone's clapping. It's wonderful. And I immediately put on Blake Shelton's song with Gwen Stefani, You Make Me Feel Like Christmas, because it's 10 times better.
I don't know if I know that one.
Oh, my God.
I'll have to
I'm going
listen
to
to
play it for
it
you later. It's so good. And that's the movie.
I did cry at some point. I wrote,
Good.
I'm not crying, you are, but
Good.
I just don't know
When?
to what
Probably at some
part.
point with one of the parents, talking about parents.
It was for sure at Heath's parents' house, or Heath's mom's
Yeah.
house. It was like at the end.
I really liked Heath, so.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the scores, my darling.
Yeah. I can't tell if mine are too high or too low. I'm really going back and forth with them.
Okay. Well, cheer.
Give it an 8.5.
Explain.
Well, we had the Christmas sweater. We have the donation Santa. We've got the candy bars that are Christmas themed. They make the snowflakes. They have the elf hats.
Yeah.
There's tons of snow. We've got the roamers.
Yeah. Why didn't you give it a higher score?
We didn't really tree trim.
Okay.
We baked the pie. It's a great question.
I give it a 10. I gave it a full 10. I went, this movie can't exist without Christmas.
That should be a Thanksgiving movie. If we're
It
talking
should be a
about Christmas
Thanksgiving
song.
movie.
But
It's a little contrived. You're right. You're right. There's no tree trimming. So I guess they could lose a point for no tree trimming and I'd be comfortable. But I was like, yeah, it feels like Christmas. I feel like Hallmark.
I felt like if I gave it higher scores, you'd be mad at me, and I don't know why.
The next week's episode,
Well,
guys, maybe I'd be a little.
All right, I'm
more-
going to bump mine up to a 9.
Yeah, I was gonna say a cool 9 is good.
Okay.
You make me feel like Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah, good job. So acting.
A 7?
I gave it a 7 too.
I initially had it at a 6, and I thought that wasn't fair.
Yep.
Because I don't think any of them are bad actors. I just think it's a bad script.
I think there is some, I think there's some flatness in some of them.
Yeah.
I think Lee carries a lot of the movie for me.
Yes.
So yeah, I wrote a 7.
Romance? Or do you want to go to plot?
Let's do plot.
Give it a 7.5.
Okay, cool.
I did that A because it's not the only movie in the world that's ever done this. I think almost all of the time for us, them, we, her, she, they.
No, but this was before that.
Well, I know, but I think all of them after it's the exact same plot.
But this is the one before that.
That like started the plot.
It started it.
It's a good point. I watched another one. Hold on.
I will say it's not like we don't have people getting trapped not being able to get home for a holiday.
Okay, so the one that I'm thinking of that I was like, I've already seen this, is Time for Them to Come Home for Christmas. So it's the two movies removed with Brendan Penny.
Yeah. Oh, you seen it with Brendan Penny?
Yeah.
Your boyfriend?
The plot is she's in like a car accident, loses her memory, but only has like a slip of paper with a note on it.
Oh my God.
And he's the nurse at the facility, and he's going the same direction to go home. So he offers to like drive her where she wants to go. And in that time they like fall in love, but then she starts getting pieces of her memory back too.
That's so cute.
It's actually kind of good. I'm going to raise my plot to an 8.
Yeah, that's where I was at. But now I think I don't know. Because it's really repetitive. They do the same things over and over. Every location they do. Now, is that bad? Because it's like, me, it feels like it's like they're having conversation about deep things, and as we go along, they give the gift of music wherever they go. So is it bad?
I've never even thought about the gift of music everywhere they go.
I was
How
thinking
romantic.
about that a lot. Yeah. So I don't know what to do anymore, and then I went 7.5 with mine.
So what I initially said.
So how about you keep the 8 that I had, and I'll keep the 7.5 that you had?
No.
So I'll go back to an 8, and you'll go back to a 7.5. It was really funny.
Well,
because
we can make the scores whatever we want them to be.
I almost made it a little higher, and Zoe went, you're using Chelsea plot logic, that it's unique. And I'm like, yes, I am.
Hey, Zoe, that's a normal way to assess something.
No, but there was a point where all of a sudden it was very important that you'd never seen a plot like this before. It was like last season or something. You're like, I've never heard of this. And I was like, that's a new element you've not brought to our plot scores before.
Oh, I know. I'm going to an 8. I'm doing it.
I'll stick with an 8 too.
Okay.
This movie's going to get a higher score than I expected.
Same.
Romance.
I'm at a 7?
I'm at a 7 too.
Oh,
I think
funny.
he carried it.
Yes.
I think it was really him bringing it home, and I think
if she was directed to be less angry and like written to be less angry about things,
yes,
I think my romance score would be higher because I did want them to be together.
Me too.
But I want them to be together because I liked him. I was like, I think Lee can maybe do better.
Me too. By the end of it, I was like, I don't know if I want you two to be together. Oh, maybe I need to lower that then. If at the end of it, I didn't want him to be with her, that's insane, Ariel. Put a 6 down. Because what am I doing? I can't give them a score I would give some, there was a movie where it probably was Lacey Chabert, but she was carrying the romance, or maybe the guy was carrying the romance. I don't know. Someone was.
Was it the Christian Mingle movie?
Oh, Lord. Who's in the Christian Mingle movie? Now that we know.
Lacey Chabert.
Yeah, but like who else? Who's her other guy in Christian Mingle? Because we now know actors, and we didn't back then. Oh, we don't know him. Never mind.
I've been doing my math. I did my math over and over again because we have the exact same score. And I was like, how is that possible? And it's because your cheer being a 10 and my romance being a 7. So I know what this movie got, and it does seem weirdly high, but...
That's funny. Okay, what you got?
7.75.
Wow, that's high. I mean, it's okay. It's fine. It's middle of the road. 7.75. So I've got the ratings here. Let's take a lookity-doo. Well, we've only recorded some of the episodes so far.
So you only want to go up to episode 7, I think.
But I don't.
No.
I don't even have that. I have Never Been Christ, CP1 and CP2. I didn't write down Christmas Prince 3. So far, it is below Never Been Christ.
Good.
But it is above the probably all 3 Christmas Princes, because Christmas Prince 3 did not beat Christmas Prince 1.
You're right.
Yeah. So it's a very middle ground. Xmas got the same score as they did. Snow Globe Christmas got a 7.75.
And you hated Xmas.
I really did not like Xmas.
Just give me the bag of red flags that is Graham.
Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, it right under Falling for You.
That's unfair. Falling for You is a masterpiece.
It's a lot better. Is it a lot better?
Yes,
I don't know.
that's the Freddie Prinze Jr. one. It's so good.
No, that's Christmas with You.
Oh.
That is our highest rated movie.
Falling for You is Lindsay Lohan. Nope, this makes sense. Keep it there.
Christmas with You is a masterpiece and is
it
the
our
highest rated movie. Wait
except
for Easter Under Wraps.
Wait till we get to Round and Round and Catch Me If You Claus.
Oh.
I think they're going to give Falling for You a run for their money.
Oh, I'm ready.
With that,
take us home, beautiful.
holy God.
Don't make faces when I'm drinking my water.
I'm so sorry.
We're going to be calm for the next episode.
I don't know if I will. No matter where you are, no matter who you are, no matter what day it is, no matter what time it is, no matter what month it is, no matter what year it is, or minute or second or day, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. Ba-da-da-da.
Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da, ba-da.